used to live there, and the only way I could figure out how to get here was to tell a story. And I couldn't think of any lasts, and the only thing that would occur to me in terms of the first was my first time. Right now I'm maybe not so happy at all. But just to clarify, I'm what they call a gold star gay, meaning it's only been men for me since the start, apart from, the time I was born. But 10 years ago, I was in my first year in college, and I had just come out to my parents. I came out to my parents before trying anything, which was probably a bad gamble to take, but and I made friends with a guy in my class, Kieran. We're still very good friends, and we both became friends towards the end of the year, and sort of we're looking at each other like, is he, very much so. And we had our end of year exams, and we went out after as a class, and when we went out, Kieran came up to me. I was smashed, and he came up to me and he was like, "Jack, do you want to, go somewhere else? It's a bit different." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a great idea, Kieran." Couldn't think of anything better to do, so stumbled my way over to what's now called Nolita's, I think, on Georgia Street. It was the Dragon at the time. I only have been there once, and as I said, I was absolutely diners, so I was chatting my way up to the bouncer, the lovely female bouncer at the door, and went kind of in the corridor, and just as I went in, before you even get into the actual bar club area, there was a very handsome Brazilian man who seems to be receptive to me. If you've been to a gay club in Ireland, you will notice that there tends to be quite a few Brazilian men. I'm not complaining at all, we're fine. I think it's also maybe important to realise that as a young gay person, going to a gay club for the first time, or a queer club, is a huge deal, and particularly for me, I literally haven't even kissed a guy before this, and it's supposed to be a very liberating, it's a terrifying experience because you're sort of stepping into who you think you are and who you're sort of afraid to be, and maybe who you haven't really accepted is you, and then you sort of got to, figure out how you do the gay stuff. And funny enough, you're not really, the talk that you have when you're a kid from your parents about how babies are made, they don't really bring up this stuff very much. And so anyway, this very handsome Brazilian man, I think his name was Diego, and he, within about 10 seconds of meeting him, he was mauling the face off me. I was a bit overwhelmed, but I wouldn't say I was unhappy. And I spent the evening with him, and met his friends. He bought me drinks. He offered me drugs, which I very sensibly declined. I didn't really decline anything else. And I ended up going to an afters in his apartment with my friend Kieran, some accompaniment that he had, and Diego's friends. And it was a bit of a strange setup, to be honest, because it was a one-bed apartment in Dublin 8, across from St. James's. But his friend was staying in his bedroom, so it was just 8 of us in the sitting room, and I didn't really know, what happens after you leave the club. And there was a lot of people there, so I won't go into any sort of gory details, but I somehow ended up in the bathroom, classy as always, scantily clad, I guess. I was followed by Diego, and that was kind of fun. And then we were joined by Diego's friend, and that was kind of fun. And then we were joined by Diego's friend's husband, and that was also very fun. It was, a bit like this evening, hot, sweaty. It was a little bit shorter than this story. And then it was quite an overwhelming experience. And that all finished and we left and I got home and about within an hour of arriving home I was like, as I had said, very drunk, and that sort of wear off, and then I guess you could call it post-nut clarity came about. And I had an absolute panic attack, because going back to what I was saying in terms of like what you're told as a kid about sex, you're not really told anything about gay sex, and I genuinely had no idea what I was doing. I just about remembered what had happened, and the only impression that you have about gay sex is HIV and AIDS, right? And so as a young kid, I was starting to panic, and I was just like, I have no idea what my risk is, how safe is safe, and whatever. Anyway, I was fine because nothing really much in the way of like risky behaviour happened, but I ended up taking myself right back to St. James's Hospital and presenting to A&E, saying I think I may have been exposed to HIV and asking for post-exposure prophylaxis, which, get tested, guys. It's great to, go to STI clinics, etc. Gays are good for that. Maybe not so much the straights, no judgment, but anyway, they just sent me over to like the guy clinic in St. James's, and like they tested me for some reason, but just to keep me calm, and then they sent me to the counsellor, and she was like, "You're fine. You're fine. This is what happens. Maybe just take it handy in the future." Just go to like one, and then maybe two. Yeah, that was my first time. So